When I came home after Katrina, one of the first things I noticed was people said, oh, Coco's home. That's what they call me. Coco's home. Maybe she can help us with the paper. I didn't understand that there's a lot of paperwork in disaster. You're being asked in the middle of trauma to sign away your rights, your life. You're being asked to sign legal documents that are going to have ramifications for generations on your property, your land, your family. And what people don't understand about poverty and generational poverty, and especially rural poverty, is that a lack of a good education will hinder you in every situation for the rest of your life. And the inability to sort of read and comprehend affects you in the middle of disaster when you're being asked to sign your life away. So I basically showed up as somebody who they knew could read. I used to do that when I was little. My job was to go to the church and read the paper to the elderly at 6 o'clock, right before Mass, as they have their coffee. So this was, we know Coco's home. Maybe she can help us read the papers. So I read the papers. Turns out I'm glad I had a law degree, because these papers were written by lawyers, clearly. These are contractual obligations, and it was seeing my community having no access to lawyers. There are no lawyers in my community. I'm the third lawyer in something like 4 or 5 generations to come out of my community, and I'm the only woman. I started reading papers for folks. I started telling them what they were signing. I started saying, ask the FEMA person about this, or make sure we ask about that. And then I stayed because this same community is the community that when I got a scholarship to Kenyon College, which covered my education, but I had to get to Ohio. So these folks would have fish dinners to pay for Coco's plane ticket. They also paid for my bar. There was a fish dinner for Coco's bar exam. This is a community, they've known me for all of my life. And they've invested in me and my education and my ability to connect to the rest of the world. And I felt a loving obligation to come home and to help, especially with the things I knew I could help with. So I opened my law office. I came home. The first part of that was opening a nonprofit called Moving Forward Gulf Coast. And the nonprofit work was direct disaster assistance and legal assistance and that sort of thing. I was helping like all these people I had grown up with. Well, I was ready to leave about 5 years after Katrina, and I knew I would, right? Okay, finally I can get back to my life in DC. And then the BP disaster happened. And the one thing if you're a lawyer is that Katrina was going to be the government responsibility, but BP was going to be a legal fight. And as a lawyer, thinking through all of the paperwork that had to come with government responsibility, disaster preparedness, I knew it was going to be triple that amount of paperwork for just legal liabilities and legal obligations to the same communities of people that were just recovering from Katrina. It was the moment I decided to stay, because it dawned on me that we're going to keep having storms. The climate is changing, and they're still extracting oil and gas, and they're doing it from deeper and more dangerous places. So these things are going to keep happening. Whether there's a big television or media presence might be the difference. And I feel an obligation, a love obligation, but an obligation nonetheless to be here and to be helpful. I come from a strong line of South Louisiana women who love their family, they love their community, they love the land, they love the water, they love the crawly, creepy things, and they love the beautiful birds and the sky and the trees. We understand that our entire existence requires there to be a balance on this earth. I'd like to make sure that legacy is left when I'm gone.